Oh, what a feeling. Dancing on the ceiling. Man. Hold up. What's up? Sorry. I mean, a little snap. What up, gang? Sorry to be chewing in your ear like that. That's disgusting. I apologize. I can understand if you don't listen to this one. I started the show by chewing in your ear. What's up, Canes fans? It's all about the U, baby. It's all about the U. We're 5-0. Gonna have Gio Million today on the show. He'll be checking in a second. You know what we're gonna talk about? FSU game. We're gonna talk about the I don't want to call it meltdown at the end of the game. I'm hearing a lot of different takes on it. I want to get your take on it. What do you think? It was a meltdown? Take the foot off the pedal? Let him back in, playing with your food? Whatever you want to call it. What was it to you? And we'll talk about it. I have different thoughts after hearing a couple different people. But it's good, man. It's good to be 5-0. Hey, man, it's a great day to be a Cane. Great day to be a Cane, baby. What's up? Comics on Canes, we in the building. Thank you for all the shout-outs. Plank time. It's called Playing Not to Lose. But, hey, we talked about this. I'm going to wait till Gio gets on. But let me tell you something that stood out to me during this Florida State game. Please, if you got any questions, if you got any comments, let's discuss. This is live. This is where I want to talk to you, Cane fans. I want to know what's going through your head after that FSU game. The one comment I will make at the beginning of this podcast: how great is it that we're in a position we're upset we didn't blow somebody out? I've heard that statement. I believe that statement. But also at the same time, even if we had a losing record and we were up on somebody by 25 points, we still would be upset if that team came back and only lost by 6. So I believe our standards have changed, but I don't think whether you're a winning record, or losing, we still would be upset about that. Am I correct in saying that? I think we would be. We could be 5-7 like Mario's first year. And if we saw that happen, we'd be like, yo, what's up? So I don't think, I've heard the argument, well, we're in such a better place, we get upset when we don't blow people out. No, I think it would be the same if we were 5-7. That's just something to get upset about, no matter your record. I think I'm right in saying that. Now, it feels good that we're in a position now that we can say, yeah, it sucks we didn't blow them out, because Miami was far better than Florida State. Yeah, that is true. Last year with FSU, we beat them badly, and that was with a terrible secondary. So this is why I want to get Gio Million on. Sorry, I got stuff in my teeth. I just had, when you eat those pretzel bites with the peanut butter in it, they get stuck all in your teeth. That is the worst thing to eat before you do this podcast. I got stuff all in my teeth. You know that feeling, right? Yeah. Anyway, Daryl, this is a new guy on the show. What's up, Daryl? Thanks for checking in. We have to stop playing with people and finish games stronger. Okay. We will get Gio Million's take on this, but I want to talk about conservative. I've heard many different arguments. We went to conservative. I rewatched the game. I do think at times in the fourth quarter we went conservative, yes. But I do think a lot of it has to do with execution too. If Keelan catches that pass that was a little bit behind him, or if Carson Beck threw a better pass, game over. If Malachi Toney doesn't run into the tackle or gets a clean exit out the backfield, Carson Beck hits him, that's a touchdown. If Malachi Toney scores that touchdown to put us up 35-3, but Keelan Marion, I believe it was him, with the illegal motion, game's 35-3, it's a different story. If you didn't have 188 yards of penalty, almost 2 football fields of penalties, it would have been a blowout. This is my thing. Miami has yet to play a full game. I mean, just think about it. They gave Florida State almost 2 football fields of penalties and still blew them out 28-3 till the fourth quarter. Just think about that. Think about how good Miami is. And yes, I'm going to say they're good. Because you hear a lot of people putting them number 1. I don't care where they are in the rankings. They could be number 10. I could care less. But I do know against Florida State, they were that good. They could give up all these penalties. They could miss a lot of opportunities that we all saw. And they were still up 28-3. That must make you feel good. Plank time. Do you like soul food or soul food? Now, the reason why Plank Time asked that question, I was in Seoul, Korea, rocking my Miami Hurricanes gear because it was game day. I watched the game. I believe it was at 8:30 a.m. in Seoul, Korea when they played Florida State. I watched it, man. Talk about starting your day off right. Y'all saw that game at the end of your day. Imagine the excitement, putting the beat down on Florida State and then having all day to just feel good and celebrate. It's almost like having a 9 o'clock game. It would be a Miami Hurricanes fan living in Los Angeles or on the West Coast, playing Florida State at 9 a.m., noon your time on the East Coast, and having all day to celebrate. That's what it was for me, Plank Time. It was an amazing feeling. It's great to be a Miami Hurricane. Gio Million is checking in a second. Big shout out to the volleyball team. They're undefeated, playing, I believe, a team that's ranked number 8. I don't live in Miami. If I did, I would be at the volleyball game this Friday. There's no football game. Everybody support the volleyball team. They're undefeated, trying to go undefeated. They play a ranked team. If anybody knows who they play, please leave it in the comments. I heard a couple people talking about it. Actually, I saw, what's his name? He always has a 305, the defense sign. I love following him. I forgot his handle, but he was talking about the volleyball game. I was like, you know what? I'm going to mention that too. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He's at every game. What's the dude? He has the chain, and he's always like, yo. And he talks real cool. He's like, yo, what's up? All right, we're the last one still here. Look at the cops. The cops telling us to leave. We're the last ones. It's all about the 305. It's all about the defense. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Cool dude, man. I love watching him. But hold on. Do you think Mario goes conservative in the fourth to keep starters? No. Keep starters. No way, because he played Bain and Messidor the whole fourth quarter because they couldn't get off the field because Florida State didn't substitute. I personally don't think Mario is saying, hey, guys, let's go conservative. I think Mario is going, hey, guys, let's not F this up. Whatever that means. We're winning by 25 points. Let's not throw 3 picks and have them run it off. Let's not kick a field goal, have it blocked, and them running it back. Let's not do stupid stuff like that. But I do think the play calling, a lot more running, did happen, but they had shots where they didn't execute. They had penalties to start off a drive, and now you're behind the sticks. And once it's 1st and 15, you're like, yo, we're going to run it. We ain't even trying to. That's where I feel like you lose the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter enthusiasm. If 1st and 15, you're throwing. You're throwing, trying to get half of it back. But if you're up 25 points, you ain't throwing. You running it, trying to get 3 or 4 yards back. Second down, get another 3 or 4 yards back. Now you're at 3rd and 9, throw a pass possibly, or then you'd be like, yo, we up 25 points. We're going to run it again. I think that was the mentality, man. It wasn't to play to win. It was play not to lose. And that's what happened. We all know that's what happened, right? Let me hit up Gio Million, seeing how far he is. How far are you, man? Oh, he's moving into the room right now. Okay. The fans are waiting. Also, me and Gio are going to talk about recruiting. We're going to talk about Bill Belichick. I mean, what's up with UNC? What's really going on? Did anyone think he was going to do good? I know it's easy to jump on the bandwagon now and say he wasn't going to do well. Youssef, only way FSU could have got back into the game. FSU scored 3 to 2 times Miami TOs over the ball, so run out the clock. Yeah. I don't have a problem with this is the only problem I have. It's going to come back. If they keep playing that way, it will come back. And Miami will lose. Now, the people I saw on the boards, one person's like, Miami's going to choke and lose a game or lose 2 games. They're not going to go undefeated. That is such a terrible take. Do you know how many teams don't go undefeated? By you saying Miami's not going to go undefeated, they're going to be like pretty much every other team. Who cares? That's not a bold statement saying Miami's not going to go undefeated. I mean, teams, these are kids, man. These are kids. Grown-ups get lazy. And I'll tell you my opinion about the Miami collapse. I don't think it was play calling at all. I mean, you could point out maybe 2 or 3 plays in the fourth. I think it was players got lazy. Players got comfortable. Players got fat. It was more on the players. Let's be honest. It's not the coaches. You know? The coaches were calling the same. Like, let's talk about Heatherman. He might have been in a prevent, but there were so many times in a fourth down situation, and they didn't step up. Blown assignments. You know, I mean, these are kids. They got comfortable. They were winning. You know? I think it was more on the players. Y'all, everybody's getting on the coach. I think it's more on the players on that one. Yeah, Bain and Messidor. It was great coaching. Let's be honest. It was great coaching on the Florida State side. We're not going to let these dudes get rest. So unless they call timeout, we are not letting Bain and Messidor off the field because now they tired. You know, and let's be honest, Bain and Messidor tired is still better than 99% of the people out there, and they're still bringing pressure. But they couldn't get a break because of that. Yes. Officiating was horrible. Just think about this. Bain and Messidor are so good. So good. They don't even call penalties on them anymore. Think about how good you have to be where they don't even call penalties on you anymore. I mean, they were getting held every play. Every play. But Miami got 188 yards of penalties. A lot of stupid mistakes. I think they got 3 personal fouls. It was like they got to stop. They got to get better. Bill Belichick. Yeah, man. Yeah, Mario didn't rest his defense, which was interesting to me. That was interesting. But maybe since they were making a comeback, he wanted to save him. I don't know. I'm not in the camp that I think Mario is going to lose us a game. I'm not in that camp. Because I think if you really break down every coach, they make mistakes every single game. You know? I think every coach makes mistakes. It's just if you're winning, you don't see them. And you got to remember, we are so hyper-focused on Miami. We see everything. National pundits, audience, they don't see that kind of stuff. That's why the ordinary audience, that's why you had Florida State people, Notre Dame people still, well, we only lost to Miami by 3. Yeah, but you got beat up. Somebody at Notre Dame hit me up, was like, yo, if we played y'all today, you know that whole excuse? I go, if you played us today, it would not matter. Because the biggest difference between Miami this year compared to all the other years, I do not care if we played you again. You would still get the beat down because we have the trenches. Like Notre Dame got whooped on both sides of the trenches. They were like, well, we're better now. Do you think Miami's not getting better either? That's the one thing that I can't see a team we dominated coming back. No matter the final score, dominating, beating us later in the season because they got better. I don't see that. I see your trenches, your men aren't as good as our men on the trenches, and that's just the way it goes. That will not change. You will not beat us. You know, I tell you who I think is a fraud too. I think Ole Miss is a fraud, man. They almost lost to Kentucky. They almost lost to somebody else the week after. Yeah, they beat LSU, but everybody beating LSU. I don't know. I'm telling you, Ole Miss is not going to end up in the top 10. Maybe not even top 15. They'll lose 2 to 3 games this year. On this back end, this last 6, let me put up Ole Miss's schedule. Hang on one second. Ole Miss football schedule. And I'm just guessing. I haven't seen their schedule. All right, they're going to win this week against Washington State. Oh, no, they play. Oh, hold on. Where are we? Okay. They beat Washington. Okay. They play Georgia. They're going to lose to Georgia. They're going to lose to Oklahoma. They might lose to South Carolina, to be honest with you. They might lose to Florida. So I see 2 to 3 more losses for sure. 2 losses for sure, possibly 3. Ole Miss. I see it. They ain't beating Georgia. They're not beating Georgia. We were waiting for my dude, Gio Million. He had to, I guess he had to do something with his kids, but he's checking in. All right. Reading your let's talk. Oh, my goodness. I knew you were going to bring it up. I want to get your take on this, Miami Hurricanes fans. Everybody watching. I saw the video. Why do people get so jacked up about people you don't even know? You know what I'm saying? Like, look, Miami, we are great at trash talking. We are great at Twitter memes. We are great. We have the best fan base. Like, we will troll you. We all about the trolling at Miami. We the best. But Michael Irvin going off for 12, I think it was like 12, 13 minutes about this dude. First of all, tell me who was the receiver. Because I honestly, I ain't trying to be, I don't know who he was. Who was this guy? I don't pay attention to the NFL. I'm a college football fan, though. Is this dude a legend in football? Because I did hear Michael Irvin say, who is this guy? I don't know who he is. Please, somebody in the comments, let me know who this guy is. But Michael Irvin, that's a bad look. And people are like, you think they'll let him on the sidelines? Yeah, they'll let him on. He didn't do anything illegal. But it's like, I know he's passionate. I know he's one of the best ever to play the game. Yes, Michael Irvin, you are one of the best. But it's like, yo. Now, if it's to get clicks, if it's to make money on your video, 100%, I get it. But it didn't even seem like that was his intention. Like, he was really upset about the comment. About not even the comment, about his picture being shown. You know what I mean? I was like, man, you are a legend. But you didn't look legendary in that moment. I don't know. If you got to pick a fight with everybody that talks about it, man, you're going to be picking fights all day. Now what's going to happen is people are going to be talking crap about you just to get your reaction, because that makes them big. Anytime the playmaker does that, oh, that's the one time I remember him doing it. But anytime anyone does that, it just makes the other person way bigger. And not way bigger person, just they get more exposure. They get more Twitter followers. Like when Cat Williams went on Shannon Sharp's show and dogged everybody, Cat Williams didn't get the benefit of that interview. He got a lot of heat as in good heat. Like he sold a bunch of tickets. But Shannon Sharp is the one that made the money off that. Well, this dude make over $10 million off that one podcast? Think about that. Cat Williams, he always sold tickets. He's always sold out. Sold out as in sold out shows, like people coming to his shows. So that never changed. Shannon Sharp is the one that got the most benefit out of that. And guess what? Whoever this receiver was, still nobody's told me who was that in my comment. Who was the player? Who was the, see, nobody even knows. Who was the guy talking about Michael Irvin? Look, that just shows you nobody. So we still don't know who he is. But guess what? People found out. I know his face now. And everybody's saying, why is Michael Irvin mad at this dude? I thought it was silly, man. I thought it was high school. At least that's my take. Very high schoolish. I got this new dog. Trying to watch him. You know when your dog walks off, you're like, oh, they probably peeing in the house or something. Because I'm training him, but I'm a good trainer. So I don't think he is. Go Canes. What's up, Chris? Gio. Come on, Gio. Because I got a lot of, I'm saving some convo because me and Gio got some good. Let's go, Gio. Let's go, Gio. Hold on. I'm texting him right now. Any other stuff you want to ask me real quick before Gio pops on? People don't have to respect in classes. No. Now, are you talking about Michael Irvin or are you talking about these young cats that's talking? Look how old I sound. Look how old I just sounded. I said young cats. That's what 70-year-old black men say. How you doing, blood? How you doing, young cat? Did I just say young cat? Did I just say young cat? I want to punch myself in the face for saying young cat. That's how old I am. You know how I know I'm old, getting old? People starting to say I look like Lionel Richie. Lionel freaking Richie. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Lionel Richie. That man is 76 years old, 30 years older than me, and people going, you look like Lionel Richie. Oh my God, don't say that. Whippersnappers. Whippersnappers. If I ever say whippersnappers on this show, like if I legit, not joking, but if I ever say whippersnappers on this show, you have the right to call me Lionel Richie for the rest of my life. If anyone ever catches me in real life on a podcast, say whippersnappers, but not in a joking way, like I'm actually using whippersnappers, call me Lionel Richie for the rest of my life. I was going to say punch me in the throat, but I know somebody, y'all crazy. Y'all might actually do it. Y'all might actually punch me in the throat. I don't know where Gio is. Did I get stood up by Gio? Did I get stood up by Gio? Somebody better hit up Gio Million. Well, I'll jump into it, then he can catch it. I want to talk about Bill Belichick. Oh, hold on, one more comment here. That's not what everybody's saying. I've spoken with the guys who knows Michael Irvin and have played professionally, and they, I back, no, don't get me wrong. I back Michael Irvin 100%. 100%. But I think he just went too hard on him. Not too hard on him, but just like, why? What did that prove, Michael Irvin? Did somebody that didn't know you were legendary now is like, oh my God, I saw that rant, you're legendary now? No. Did you change anybody's mind about you? No. All you did was bring more attention about a dude that you don't think he knew what he was talking about. I don't know. I hear the beep. There he is. Gio Million. What's up,
What's
buddy?
up, Mike? How you guys doing?
Look at you with the new background, sir.
Yeah, not in my usual space. I put up a background.
Who wants smoke? Gio Million. Hey, man, we are 5-0. I want to first start off with Florida State. I want to get your take. Some people calling it a collapse. Some people calling it, hang on one second, Gio. I know we live, but I've been trying, when you have a package that comes every day and you never get it and they show up?
Yeah.
And you have to sign for it, but you miss it. Oh, that's them. Hang on one second. Talk to the people. I got to get this package.
Hey, well, Mike's getting that package. Hope everyone is doing well. Drop any comments or questions you have in the comments section, and I'll let Mike try to bring them up, and I'll answer them as best as possible. Coaches have been out on the road this week. They'll be back on the road again tonight with high school football games going on in South Florida and around the country. Very busy week for the Hurricanes football program, despite it being a bye week. Early signing day is only 2 months away. So there is plenty that is going on right now that will lead up to these next 8 weeks going into early signing day. So feel free to drop any question.
Okay, ask the questions. Here we go, Gio. Some people call it a collapse at the end of the game. Some people call it bad execution. Some people call it taking the foot off the pedal. What's your take on Miami at the end of the game?
My take on it. Okay, so I think the penalties definitely came into play, especially one in particular. You had Jordan Lyle who picked up, I think it was about 8-9 yards on a pass out in the flats. And then the very next play, Miami has 3rd and short, and then you get a false start penalty. And that kind of throws off the rhythm of the offense. So that happened there, and then happened again a couple other times. I think fans are overlooking that aspect that those penalties are killing drives. However,
yes,
I will share you this, Mike, because I had someone look it up this week. The 2001 team that won a national championship, they were heavily penalized throughout the season, both on offense and defense. So
now let me ask you, was that more of celebration though? And like talking no?
Just mistakes and whatnot.
Here's what I'm excited about, Gio. When you watch that game, we all forget about, let's say it ended the 3rd quarter, right? 28-3. That game could have stopped right there, and you go, man, Miami missed so many opportunities. Isn't that crazy how good Miami is right now?
Yeah.
That they could get a touchdown called back. They could have offsides the whole game. They could rack up all these penalties. And at the end of the 3rd quarter, the game was still 28-3. And you're like, man, they probably had 2 or 3 more touchdowns they could have scored.
Yeah, I absolutely think they could have, especially even in the first half. There was some miscues here and there.
Yeah.
You go back to, it was a tremendous pass that Carson Beck had. It was over the shoulder to Malachi Tony. It was about 40 yards deep down the field. One of the first ones they attempted, and fans were freaking out, like, why are we throwing the ball? Even though Florida State was telling out to stop the run. And even Shannon Dawson mentioned that this week during his press conference. He said, look, they claim that, we figured out a way to stop them. They didn't really stop.
No.
Miami. They sold out to stop the run. They had their safeties crashing down into the box almost every other play. And Miami's a pick your poison team. All right, you want to try to stop our run? We're going to throw the ball. You want to try to stop the pass and sit back and cover 4 and play underneath? We're going to run the ball right up the gut. So the only thing I'll say, though, I saw this from the tape, actually. The defense in particular in that 4th quarter, I didn't understand the changeup. And what I mean by the changeup is they gave up a lot underneath. Like it was kind of bail technique and playing off several yards off the receiver. And I get it from their perspective of you don't want to give a big play over the top and then Florida State starts getting back into the game. They had to go 19 plays to get a score on the board to begin with. So pass rush was awesome. Even though there wasn't that many sacks, it's still tough to sack a guy like Tommy Castellanos. I mentioned that before the game ever even took place. Like some people were asking, could Bain and Mesidor have 4 sacks between them? And I told people I'd go with the under because, yes, they're going to pressure him a lot, but Castellanos, he's just going to find a way to toss the ball out of bounds, throw it into the dirt or whatever on what would be sacks against other quarterbacks. I think next week when Miami plays Louisville, you'll probably see more sacks for the Miami defense because they're one of the worst in terms of pass protection as well. And last thing overall with the game and that closing and whatnot, I mentioned the penalties with the offense, mentioned the defense and whatnot. When it really mattered, though, like when the pressure was at its highest, Miami had the game in control.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, I know it's old cliche that, the score is not indicative of what it actually was.
It wasn't.
That cliche is true. It really is in this sense of that game. Miami dominated that game.
You know what's interesting is we know how much hate Miami gets in the press. And I was like, when the game was over, I go, here we go. People in the media are going to be like, Miami barely beat Florida. But everybody was like, from top to bottom, Miami dominated this game. Don't worry about that. And I was surprised that was the lead of the big podcasters. That was the lead of the national media. Like, Miami beat the heck out of Florida State. Score wasn't indicative of that, but know that Miami beat them up pretty bad. And I was surprised at that narrative.
Didn't surprise me, actually. And the reason why I say that is there's this saying that Mario Cristobal says that, it looks a certain way.
Yeah.
Miami looks a certain way. They do.
I heard what Josh Pate said. He's seen all these teams up front, and he goes, Miami's just built different, man. They're creatures.
He's
right.
Yeah. He's right. I think there's a discussion about one, maybe two teams that have looked very similar to Miami this year. I think Ohio State in particular. Yes, they have a young quarterback, but their defense is for real. And they also have one of the best pass rushers in the country in Caden Curry as well. He could play on that same D-line with Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor. That kid is for real. I'll give them their props. And their secondary is pretty good as well. So Ohio State could definitely compete with Miami on a field right now. Alabama, we'll see. They lost to Florida State early on, but then now, they're kind of bouncing back. Teams can get better throughout a season, so we'll see. But the other team I will mention that I have on the bubble, Oregon. I want to see a little more of them. I know people are going to say, oh, but, they play number 8 Indiana this weekend. I've been on record saying Illinois was overrated and Indiana beat Illinois like a drum. And then I've also been on record saying that I don't think Indiana's that great of a team. And I think you saw it even in the playoffs. Here. And I think you're about to see that take place this week. And I think Oregon's going to blow out Indiana.
I think, to me, Ole Miss, out of the next 4 games, they'll lose 2. They're going to lose to Georgia, and there's another game. I think they're overrated because I think they can lose at any time. I don't see them being strong. They barely beat Kentucky. They beat them. Go ahead.
I'll give some props to Lane and Ole Miss when it comes to like the quarterback situation. Trinidad Chambliss, a great story overall, coming from lower levels of college football and how he's been able to perform at the FBS level. I think it's impressive in itself. But yeah, I don't think Ole Miss is going to end up beating Georgia.
Let's move forward. Look, everybody talked about Florida State and Miami at Nosham. Like we're done. I want to talk about Bill Belichick real quick.
Okay.
There was a lot of hype around Bill Belichick in UNC. There's stories saying he wanted to buy himself out. There were stories saying they're going to fire him. First question I'm going to ask you, will he be coaching against Cal? What's your take on that?
I think it's a hard one to answer.
Really?
Could be a yes, could be no. There's a lot of discussion and things swirling around in Chapel Hill right now. We'll see. His buyout is very interesting because technically he could buy his own self out too.
I know, that's crazy. For $1 million, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, he could basically get out at any time that he wants. It's been disastrous there, the start there. And then, everyone talks about the girlfriend thing. I don't think it's so much the girlfriend thing that people are making it out to be. To me, what I see is that Belichick has what I call the itch. And what I mean by the itch is that I've seen this with former players too, that, they want to be back around the game or in some capacity. And it happens with coaches too, because he tried going for rounds of interviews in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he feels, whether it's true or not, he feels that Robert Kraft, the GM of the Patriots, that he kind of blackballed them with other teams around the NFL in terms of getting a head coaching opportunity. So, Bill saw the opportunity open up in North Carolina. North Carolina has a lot of financial backing behind them, especially the Jordan brand. That all comes into play. Is he a college coach? Who knows? It's still too early in his tenure. But then again, maybe his tenure is only going to be a few games. It's still very much up in the air.
I mean,
if you asked me, my gut feeling, I don't know if it'll be before the Cal game, but I do think he'll probably leave North Carolina before the end of the year. I think it's just a bad
I think what you got 5 more weeks, 6 more weeks of games. I think you got to kind of save face, roll with them through the end of the year. Hey, look, we just put out a tweet, which we know is the sign of they're going to fire you. But it's kind of like, let's both save face here. But the problem is they're going to lose all the recruits. The players that are playing there, their parents are talking trash about the program.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to go there. I know that Dobson kid just he's going to come a year early. He's not going to go there.
Yeah, I mentioned that some weeks ago because there were some people that jumped on that train really fast in the media where they said, I spoke about this with a few people actually, that they jumped on the train really quick that, he's going to go there because the finance and the NIL. And yes, while that was true, that they were being very aggressive in that aspect, Kenton Dobson also really loves Miami.
Yeah.
Committed to Miami on his late mother's birthday. His late mother was a massive Miami Hurricane fan himself. So it was a personal touch to that recruitment. It wasn't, I mentioned it over in my private board actually back in September that it wasn't exactly a done deal yet. And they were going to bring him back in on a visit and iron out the details. He should stay in Miami's class. I'd be surprised if he dipped out of Miami's class at this point.
What is going on with JoJo Trader? I saw Gary Furman on Kane's his Kane site, and he goes, "Yo, the dude basically." I'm paraphrasing here. This is what I got from what he wrote. After he got hurt, he never got to the position where he got his job back. People passed him, and not saying he can't get his job back, but right now his work ethic is not letting him get back because he just wants the job. Paraphrasing, that's what I read. Would you read into it? Or what do you know?
Look, I always have the belief that there's always some truth in the middle in terms of those statements. I know some people have their reservations or whatnot about Gary Furman and with Kane Sport over the years. I will share this. They have a very good relationship with Mario Cristobal and his coaching staff.
Yep.
I know some people will be surprised to hear me say this, but I'm actually going to give them a little promo themselves. They're plugged in pretty well with this regime. I'm being honest. Like, I've seen things that have come through group chats I'm in, and it's accurate stuff. Now, the stuff on Trader and work ethic stuff, I wouldn't exactly pin it exactly like that. I mentioned something on my private board quite a few weeks back, and then I ended up getting some calls and whatnot, and I had to pull back a couple of things that I mentioned. But let's just say, look, yes, he got hurt early in fall camp. Came back like right before the season started. He was like wide receiver 4, game 1. They got a couple snaps out there. Everyone saw that. I think there was like 2 deep balls thrown to him. One was an obvious PI. The other, he probably should for the ball harder on the other one. But after that, there's scenario that happened. There was also a player that was removed from the roster as well. That's going into the portal now. That name came out after like the first game everyone saw with Markeith Williams. I don't want to go too far into detail about it again because I spoke about it with people at Miami. But bottom line is this: it's not a talent issue with JoJo Trader, because I know some people were saying, "Oh, well, he's just not good enough." It's not that at all. He has the talent. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes.
And let's be honest, through spring and fall, he was the guy that was before Tony. He was the one everybody before CJ Daniels. They were like, "Yo, JoJo's killing it." So
yeah, well, I do think there's a crease of opportunity still. Yes, Daniels and Tony have really established themselves, but I've been on record saying this for a few weeks now. I think the offense still needs a third receiver to really, and not from the aspect that they need to get as many touches or opportunities as Tony or Daniels, but there needs to be some type of consistent level of production. And this is no slight to Keelan Marion. I think he's had some nice moments, but no one can convince me right now that he has a stranglehold as being one of the other starting receivers. I think the rotation's going to open back up a little bit at receiver. It's just been a little tight the last 2 games. It has.
Yes, of course.
Josh Moore hasn't played a lot, and even Tony Johnson's reps went down too. I think they're going to open it back up. You ask me personally, I think that's what's going to happen coming off this bye week. They're going to open it back up. Some guys are going to get some opportunities. I think this will be an opportunity for JoJo Trader to maybe get himself back in the standing of being one of the more top receivers on the team. Because I'll be honest with you, he was expected, like heavily expected around the program, not just people watching or fans, but around the program, to be a guy that would really contribute this year.
Yep.
And guys like him and Lyle, that I know Lyle's been more so the injury, I think it's impressive in itself that what Miami's been capable of doing already, even without those guys at 100% or full go or however we want to name it. So I think open up that the rotation a little at receiver after Daniels and Tony. I'm not saying those guys have to come off the field, but and it's no disrespect to Keelan Marion either. I think you get what I'm saying here, Mike, is that there needs to be a little more juice there. And what I mean is getting in the end zone. Less mistakes, things like that. Just whoever can elevate out of guys that I think should be in contention for that, like between JoJo, Marion, Josh Moore. You know, Josh Moore really flashed, and then we haven't seen him a lot since.
Well, they had games where they didn't want to take a chance. You know, they just want to play their main starter. I get that. Look, we won. We 5-0. That's all that matters. Before I let you go, though, I want to talk about recruiting. Did we turn the page on anyone? I mean, it's got to be like the recruits are like, yo, this school's for real now.
I'll give a quick rundown on things I can remember off the top of my head. I do have an update coming. It was actually supposed to drop Wednesday in the private board, but I got busy with quite a few things. I have in-laws in from out of town, but I'm looking to wrap it up between today or tomorrow. I'll share some tidbits here though. So with like Derek Cooper, I mentioned over a month ago, specifically in the update right before the Florida game, that Mario Cristobal, he doesn't care what the fans think, because a lot of fans are saying, oh, well, I don't care. You know, stop recruiting Derek Cooper because he said he's got to see more from us. Mario Cristobal doesn't recruit off of feelings. Mario Cristobal recruits off of what he believes is talent, number one, and number two, if it's a fit for the program as well. So,
well, I mean, Malachi Tony was that. People were like, forget Malachi Tony. He left us.
Yeah, there was some fans that were like that. No, I had a fan try to tell me the other day, they were like, oh, they had dropped him when he decommitted. I'm like, what are you talking about? They never dropped him. They never dropped him. Ever. Did he explore other schools? Yeah, but it was never a case that they had dropped him. But sticking on the theme here, though, with Cooper, Mario has taken a personal approach with that recruitment. I mentioned that right before the Florida game. Lo and behold, the very next week at a Friday night football game in South Florida, Mario was there himself, the head coach of Miami, and the Texas running back coach was out there. Not the Texas head coach, but Miami's head coach was out there. So for the fans saying that, oh, forget Derek Cooper, Mario Cristobal's not forgetting Derek Cooper. They're going to go down to the wire for that one, and they're going to try every single avenue and approach that they can. Because you asked me personally, do I think they have a chance of that? Yeah. Do I feel as confident in him as other guys are going after? No. But, you know, just let things play out. There's still a whole 2 more months. Calvin Russell, I believe Miami's in the best position they've ever been in with him, dating back to his junior year of high school. This is before all the Syracuse stuff started coming up and more of the basketball stuff being pushed. The other thing that is playing a really big factor there that people have overlooked, and I brought this up during the offseason, heading into the season, that him and Malachi Tony, they are best friends, literal best friends. I've seen this with my own 2 eyes, even when they were playing 7-on-7 together with Hellstar, and then they switched over to Raw Miami. Even outside of 7-on-7 functions, they're always together. So Miami's also taking a little bit of a different approach with his recruitment, rather than treating him as like, you know, legacy guy. You know, your mom's a basketball Hall of Famer here. There's been a little more of a personal touch with the recruitment, rather than saying, oh, you know, you should be here or whatever. Yeah. They've kind of amped that up. So I think they have a really good shot at flipping.
Nice.
I could I could see it eventually happening. I'm not. I wouldn't say like imminently, but I could see it happening down the line. Another guy I want to throw out there, Justice Fitzpatrick, Minka Fitzpatrick's younger brother, who plays at St. Thomas Aquinas now. He's been dealing with a knee injury early on this season. He's just started playing this past week. He's visited Miami multiple times. I mentioned this about a month ago. I'll bring it up again. I was tipped off that someone close to his recruitment does not expect him to stick with Georgia. They think it's either going to be Miami or Ohio State, and he hasn't been to Ohio State yet this year. Now, if he gets up there for a visit, we'll see, but he's visited Miami multiple times. His brother has signed an extension with the Dolphins too, so a lot of things that are playing in Miami's favor here. And anyone else that I want to throw out, Miami's got a lot of momentum with Anthony Tank Jones, the five-star from the state of Alabama. They're also recruiting a ton of other defensive linemen too, but I think that's the interesting one to kind of focus on right now, that Oregon's playing a lot of defense right now for him. Auburn's in the mix as well. Texas A&M, Alabama, usual suspects you'd expect.
I love it.
Out of the Yellowhammer State. But Miami, they really got their hooks in there, and some other programs are concerned.
All right, Gio, where can people find you, my friend?
Everyone can find me on X at Gio Million. You can also find me on YouTube at Who Wants Smoke. Well, I shouldn't say at Who. The show is Who Wants Smoke, but yeah, you can make it easier now. If you're putting at Kane Smoke on YouTube, you can find it super easy now. I'll be back on with Amon in the upcoming days. I was just on with Brett yesterday for the Caneswear podcast. If you missed me earlier this week, I was on the radio, 104.3 FM or 560 WQAM, as it's always
nice.
I've been on there quite a bit throughout this season and even last season, so sometimes you catch me on there late night.
All right, and make sure you follow the podcast. That's all I want you to do. Thank you for watching Comics on Canes. Gio, thank you so much, bro.
Of course. Anytime, Mike.